Good morning, and welcome to Winnipeg. Now, it is dark outside. It is early. This was another one of those days or mornings. It happens about once a month. I'll wake up real early, and I'm just laying there, and I just know that I'm not going to go back to sleep. I might be tired, but I'm not sleepy, if that makes any sense. So I got up. Here we are. Now, I started thinking about different things, and I was thinking about, the fact that, about my new airbrush and so on, and how Tennessee Jim had mentioned how you could get caps for these things. And so I Googled it, and I was looking at it online, and I thought how much it looked like the insert that comes with, where's one that's empty? Here, don't open that one. Here, this is an empty one. I save every other one. Okay, so we got this insert here. They come out. Now, I haven't tried it yet. One of the viewers was mentioning that, unless I read his comment wrong, that this actually fits. So we'll take this out and try it. And if not, I was thinking about how I could probably make something. I mean, I've got two lathes down in the workshop. I got one that'll do it out of metal and one that'll do it out of wood. And I was thinking at first, well, I could quickly turn something in the wood lathe, except that every time you wash it out, the solvent and whatever is going to get into the wood. And then I was remembering that I had a piece of brass rod that I think is pretty much the same diameter as this thing. And I could probably turn that down and make something out of it. And maybe I could find an O-ring and all the junk that I've kept or something like that, so it would be sort of pop in and pop out. But that's the kind of stuff I was thinking about this morning when I should have been going back to sleep. Yeah. Anyway, here we are. And there probably is not going to be a sunrise this morning. It is still dark outside. Normally I would have the curtains closed right now because I'm sure I look all lit up in here like a Christmas tree. And but I wanted you to see the Christmas lights. Okay, let's roll back and see how it is we got to this place right here. You're probably noticing that there's a little bit of a crack there. Well, we'll be talking about that in the rollback. So let's roll back. Okay, I'm guessing about 15-20 minutes ago I finished putting on the clear coat all the way around. And I'm noticing I've got something going on. I want to be careful how I pick this up. I'm going to show you why in a minute. But what is happening right here? No, that's just I guess maybe I got too close with the airbrush, and it hasn't quite dried there. However, right here, I guess when I was handling this thing, I must have squeezed right here. Yeah, I would have squeezed here, and I broke the seam just very slightly right here. Not very far down, but just right at the top. Just enough that you can see here that we're going to have to do a little repair job. I'm thinking probably the extra thin would be the best way to go with that. Just let it meld itself back together, and overnight that is. And we'll let this clear coat and everything dry overnight. The humidity in here right now is only 32%, so it should dry pretty good. Okay, let's recompose here and see if we can very carefully, I guess we'll do it from the inside because I don't want it running down if the extra thin runs down the paint, then I'm going to have a huge mess to try and fix. Okay, I've swung our Iowa around here now so that we can look at it from the inside. And this is the joint right here that's cracked. Yeah. We'll move in a little bit closer. Okay. You can see where it's come loose there. And I don't want to be letting it run down this crack here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it from the back and just let the extra thin run down. And just meld everything all together. And then we'll probably have to repaint in certain places here. And one more. That should be good. I don't think I need to put any clamp or anything on it. We'll just let it, excuse my ugly fingers here. Yeah, I think it's going to be all right. Now, I believe that this was the little paintbrush that I used yesterday when I was touching up the boo-boo. And when you're looking at it with the macro lens, you could really see that the paintbrush was loaded with dust. Now, I don't know how that happened. Maybe it was something from the bottom of the jar. No, it must have been dust somehow. Anyway, I'm just using it as a pointer here. Just let me move in a little bit. Okay. Now, I had been thinking of painting this, but then I realized that in all likelihood, the top of the boot line or water line is going to come right here, about here. So this is going to get sprayed again later with the number 19. So I don't think I'll bother. I'll just hope that, I know some people would say, oh, you got to go over it again with the putty and, sand. And you know what, they're right. But as I commented to one of the viewers, I've only got one life here to build this thing, and then it's getting shorter. So, yeah. There's only so much that I'm willing to do here, unfortunately. I'm noticing that you can't see it too clearly, but we've still got bird seed in the bird feeder. So that's all right. That's good news. All right. Oh, we'll see you in the morning. Okay, now I haven't tried this yet. I like to do things sort of, you might say, live on camera. And I'm just sort of eyeballing that insert. And it looks like it's too big. But let's just try it before I go to all the work of prying it out of there. No, it's not going to fit. Well, the idea was good. Maybe the person has a larger container, or rather cup, a reservoir, whatever you call this thing that I'm holding in my hand right now. Yeah, and it could be that his is larger and these things do fit. So let's go down into the workshop. Well, I'll go down the workshop. You guys stay up here. And I'll see if I can find that brass rod. And maybe we can turn something down out of brass. It might be kind of fun. It's not really model related, and yet on the other hand, it's sort of model related. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I found it. And for whatever reason, I already had turned it to something like what I'm thinking of. Only I've turned, it's obviously not going to fit, but what I'm noticing is it is almost too small. It is almost too small. If I was to turn it down, I'm guessing, a 64th of an inch, then this would fit inside. But then how would I pull it out? I was hoping that this was bigger, and I could, have something to catch and pull it off. And I had also been hoping that I'd have an O-ring here, like this one is about the right size. Yeah, something like this might actually. It's it might stretch, although, you know what, I think it's cracked. Oh, it's broken. Okay, well, that's the end of that one. Don't know why I'm keeping it then. Something like this could maybe be made to work. No, it's a little bit too big. It's gonna be hard to shove in. Oh, okay. Well, the thought was there. You know, yeah, the thought was there. Now I don't know if I'm gonna do this or not. Now somebody's gonna say, Ron, why do you have a brass rod? Well, this rod that I've got here, it used to be about 18 inches long, and I've slowly used it up, and now it's probably used about 8 or so inches of it. And what I would do is I would make something out of it. Now, some of you pen turners are going to instantly recognize this as a pen mill. Now, what do you need a pen mill for? Well, I'll back out and I'll show you. So let me recompose here. Okay, now while I was recomposing here, I found an O-ring that is almost exactly the right size. I don't know what it came off of, but for whatever reason I saved it years ago. And this is exactly the right size. Just a tiny bit of stretch will give it a nice tight fit. In fact, very little stretch. However, can it be made to... Oh, this isn't going to work. This has to be... Oh, wrong one. Okay, maybe it will work. Yeah, it will work. Okay, I can redo this, and then what I could do is I could cut this off, and then put a little handle on it, something like where's Andy's photo etch pen? I'll show you what I mean. Okay, this obviously is too big, but this would be the idea. I would put a knob on the end of it so that it could be pulled out. Yeah. Sometimes I don't make a whole lot of sense, do I? Okay, so I know I've got that. And now, I was going to show you why do I want this. Now, years ago, I was really big into making pens. Okay? And these are the ones that I hadn't given away, that I kept for myself. Now this pen right here, so let me get this out of the way. Okay, this particular pen right here, it has a cap. And in the cap is a brass tube, which is surrounded by wood. And what you do is you would take a piece of wood like this, and you would drill the hole in at just the right size, and you would cut, when you would cut it off, it would be slightly longer than, I think I can show you here. Okay, it would be slightly longer than this brass tube. Now, what you want to do then is get the end of the wood to be exactly flush with the end of your brass tube here. And so you use this what's called a barrel trimmer, and it will fit on the inside of the brass tube just right. And then you put this in your drill press and you turn it, and you go down until you get it just exactly right, until the cutter is just kissing the edge of the brass tube. And then you know that you can press your parts all together. Now, I'm not going to give you a lesson on how to turn a pen, because I've already done that earlier on YouTube. Actually, a lot of videos, if you're interested. Okay, so that's what this is for. And I could not buy one of these exactly the right size for this particular pen. Yeah, which was really strange. You could buy them for almost all the other kits, but I could not find one for this one. So I thought, hey, I can make one. So I did. I made this up. Now this part that I'm holding on to right now, that's a genuine bought one, much smaller. And all I did was I drilled a hole in the piece in my brass rod and glued the smaller one into it. So now I've got exactly the right size. Okay, that's what this is all about. I wonder if there's still ink in this thing. It looks like maybe it'll be all dried out because I made this a long time ago. I guess it'd go on better this way, wouldn't it? Okay, yeah. Okay, here we are back on our paint and marking guide. I'm going to use one of Gabe's swab things here. Okay, and remember we concluded that if we multiply whatever this is by 4.325, we should have it pretty well right. So what I'm going to do, just for the fun of it, I'm going to take the measurement from the gunnel at the top here, right there, to the top of the line, where it should be, and then just for fun, it's very easy to see the definition right here. Go from here to the top of the line and see, you know, how close it is. Or we could go to the center of it, but I think it's easier to just go just to the top of the line. And when we get around the stern, we might have to make it a little bit of an adjustment, because if it doesn't look like it's quite right, the stern is where it's going to be the problem, not the bow. Okay, we haven't heard from our friend Gabe lately. Yeah, he was going to make 1/200 scale sailors. Wonder how that's coming along. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to do it in millimeters. Just in millimeters here. Okay. Maybe it's a little too much. All right, that's pretty good. What do we got there? Okay, 5.55 millimeters. Okay, now from the bottom to the top of the water line. I think that's about it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, what do we got here? 13.62. Oh, by the way, I made this as well. This is acrylic, not wood, of course. Okay. 5.55 times 4 equals, so it's 22.2. Should have been able to do that one in my head. And 13.62. Oh, it's 4.325. Oh my goodness, I better redo this here. On. Okay, 5.55 times 4.325. Okay, I don't do everything right. In other words, so that makes it about 2 millimeters more. It's 24.00. We'll call it 24. Yeah. Okay, let's do this again now. 13.62 times 4.325. Okay, it should be 58.9. millimeters. Okay, let's just, for the fun of it, do it on the side of our ship here, and and see how close they are one to the other. And then, like I say, we'll move to the stern and make sure it's going to be right when we get around to the back. Okay, I'm going to make a little mark just wherever it comes. It'll probably be just below that porthole there. We'll see. And I've got it set for 24 millimeters. It was pretty hard to get it exactly on 24. Oh, speaking of Gabe, it could well be that he had made that comment about making those for us before I made a big hairy deal about don't send me anything. So maybe he's, oh, it's above it. Okay, oh my goodness, I wonder if I'm going to have a problem with my black line. Not, let's see, I'm going to go like this. Okay, we should be able to see that. Okay, now let's do the other one and see where it comes. Yeah, it could be that in places my black line will be too low. Well, maybe we're going to have our boot line a little lower. Okay, now we need 58.9. And that will be from the bottom up. 58.9. We'll eventually get it here. Now, is that going to become the same place? Probably getting my, trying to get it so that you can see it and I can see it too. Well, that's pretty much dead on, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty much dead on. Yeah, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what. Okay. Okay. Now, that mark that I've got on there is just maybe a millimeter too high. So let's put our pencil right about there. Now, we're not going to draw any lines right now. The idea will be we'll just drag it along very, very gently. And any place where I maybe go over a little bump or something on the cloth here, I'll be averaging it out when I put the tape on. But I think that's pretty good. So let's swing our Iowa around here now and see where does this come when it goes around under the back, under the stern. Okay, this thing weighs about, I forget, 4 or 5 pounds. I'm just going to put it in the center here just to make everything stable so that when I move it around, I know that it's, generally speaking, going to be in the right place. All right. Now, where is this going to come? Does this look like it's about right? Actually, if I look in the monitor, I can actually see it better. Well, maybe not. Maybe I have to turn it like this. Yeah, that appears to be about right. Let's check the paint and marking guide here. Alright, it's kind of dark. I can sort of see where it is. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe it should be up just a tiny little bit. But if it's up a tiny little bit, is it going to... Sorry to get my hands in the way here. That would be a better way to do this. Just go up just a little bit here. Like that. Okay, now... Yeah, it looks about right. Yeah, let's see where it's going to come now along the side. Okay, right now it is probably about 2 millimeters higher than it was before, but it looks like we're going to be covering our black line. I don't know, that looks awfully high to me. Now I know that the boot line is about 2/3 of the way up. Now the only other way to do it would be to raise the stern just, no, I guess it would be raise the bow just slightly. Let's see how it's going to look here when I get this out of the way. Let's put this back down where it was, like that. Okay, we'll take this out for the time being so it'll slide. Very carefully here. Very carefully. Alright. Now, put this back in. Something like that. Okay. Now, yeah, that looks about right. Looks about right to me. Okay. Oh, we got mail. Well, here we go. Just double check this now. That looks all right. Now I know you can't see it way down here. We got the... Just going to put it up against the side and let it drag. I realize that it is skipping in some places, but that's okay. I'll get the, yeah, we're in the right place when it went across the mark. It's kind of getting itself caught in the portholes. That might give me a bit of a problem when it comes to painting. Okay, now here is where we're going to have to be really careful, because if I tend to push it in, it's going to also push the pencil down. So it looks a little bit low to me. Did it go down on me? No? Well, it's pretty much right. Well, it could be that when I skid along here with the tape. Okay, now what I think I should do now is measure down 10 millimeters. Or no, this is an 8 millimeter tape, isn't it? Or is it 10? Yeah, this is the 10 millimeter. And go down 10 millimeters and then draw the line where it comes under the stern. And then I'm just going to have to do a lot of eyeballing when it actually comes time to press the tape in place. I wouldn't say I'm good at that, but okay, let's just recompose here and how's that look? About right? Okay. Now we want to come 10 millimeters lower when we get around the back. Okay. I wonder if we're going to be able to tuck this in underneath there. Let's just see what's going to happen. I'll just reposition here. Now, are we going to be able to gently make a mark here? Okay, it's right about here where it's going to start fanning out, if you know what I mean. Oh, did I move it here? Okay, I'm hoping now that when I've got the hull upside down, I'm going to be able to see this other line. On the other hand, that I may decide that it's too much, too tight a radius to try and, get the tape around, and I just won't bother with it. But if I can, I will. Okay, now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, so we don't need to video that because it's going to be the same thing, only the other way around. Okay, in places like this where I have scratched the black paint right off of the plastic with the pencil, I guess when I come along with the tape, well, the tape is going to widen out here. I don't know if you can see this, but here, this is the top line, and this would be the bottom line, and it's starting to widen out here. So it could be that what I'll do is in order to make sure that this is covered by paint, which will be the hull red. Oh, speaking of the hull red, somebody suggested that I add a little bit of ordinary red to the hull red. I think I've got some, so I just might do that, but that won't be today, that's for sure. And right here, where I couldn't really draw it, I'm just going to have to eyeball it and try and get it symmetrical. It shouldn't be too hard. And this is the underside. The only time you're ever going to see this is if it's sitting on a mirror. Okay, and here, this is the top line. I don't know if you can see that. It just comes right along there. It's going to be pretty faint. But you know what? That's going to be it for today's episode, folks. So, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow, and we'll be trying to put some tape on.